Yeah, I think the emotions are, of we feel good about how we're playing, but I think there's also kind of an emotion of anger because we felt like those were two games that were games we could win, right down to the last possession. So I think the guys, the confidence is high because they feel like we're playing well and we're proving it against high-level teams, but yet the ultimate goal is to win. So when you don't win, there's going to be some anger involved. So I think we're looking forward to getting back out on the floor against DePaul, another good team, and trying to get back in the winning column.
5 guys with 30-plus minutes, and those are the only players with double-digit minutes. Is that a concern going forward? How do you kind of evaluate them?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to continue to develop our young players. Part of that is the function of the schedule. It's the first year in a long time for all of us where you're playing multiple conference games, you're in an exempt event, you're playing an ACC game, and I think everyone understands the importance of what those games mean, for your long scope of your season. So, I have full belief in our young players. We have to continue to develop them. But I think some of those games we got caught, either we were down, like the other night we were down 15. So we had to go to a group, a veteran group that got us back into the game. So in the second half, I wasn't able to play those guys like I might have wanted to, but you're down 45-30. And, I thought the group we had got us back in the game and we just kind of rode it out. So I think you saw when we were in California, there was a game, I think Pete played 20-plus minutes. Miller played big minutes in a couple of those games. They're going to have their opportunities. Ryan Greer needs to stay ready. And then with Barrett, it was interesting because, Derek's playing so well, so you want to keep him on the floor and keep him fresh. But I feel good about how Barrett's playing, and I feel like he's a guy that could easily give us double-figure minutes as well.
What are the things Pete and Miller specifically need to do to stay on the floor?
Just experience. Just learning. I mean, it's a different level when you come from high school and now all of a sudden you're playing in a high-level Big Ten game. You got to experience it, and they have great attitudes. They're working. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit more ahead right now. Offensively, it's harder to adjust to the defense at this level when you're playing against certain teams and how they play. A team like Michigan that runs their stuff so well and constant cutting and motion. Sometimes a young player can get lost at times in that. So. I think it's just a culmination of experience and confidence, and we have belief in those guys. And as the season goes on, they're going to continue to get their opportunities.
After watching film from the last 2 games, what are some of the things on offense you really want to see Keith continue to do going forward?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting better each game offensively. We're obviously a lot of the things we're doing this year are relatively new in terms of more cutting, more off-ball movement, trying to utilize our ability because we have big guards and big wings to post those guys and get them getting towards the basket. I feel like every game we're kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with the things. I thought in the second half, really against Michigan, I thought our execution was dynamic against, I don't know if they still are, but coming into the game, I think they were the #1 defense in America. So, I mean, I thought in the second half, we were getting all the shots we wanted. We were getting it inside. We were getting cuts. We were posting guys. We were getting open shots. So, to me, that was a real confidence builder. I think we now, again, have to, the more we play together, it's a newer team. When you get late in games, can you get the shots you want, and can you convert when you got to execute at the end? And that's something we have to continue to get better. And I think we're going to shoot it better. I don't think, if you look at our three-point numbers right now, I don't think that's indicative of the kind of shooters we have. I feel like Turner's percentage is going to come up. I know Taylor's will. Just feel like as the season goes on and those guys get their legs under them even better, I think we'll shoot it better from 3.
The moment where you kind of got on the floor,
Yeah.
what kind of went into that?
Just competition. Like you said, that group we had on the floor had been on the court for a while. So I noticed a little bit of fatigue. There was a timeout coming up, and it was just my way of trying to give those guys some energy and also try to get the people out of their seats a little bit in the crowd. I think we're still training our crowd, how to be at its best, and I thought it was great. But sometimes when you do that, it gets the crowd incited a little bit, and I just thought our team needed our energy at that moment. And, I think the guys know at all times I have their back and I'm in the fight with them. And sometimes that means to be real emotional, and other times it means to be more calm and give them poise. So I just try to feel that out the best I can.
With Derek, obviously he came and kind of burst onto the scene with that game against Nebraska, but how have you seen him grow?
I just feel like his confidence, and it's a direct result of the work he's put in. I mean, he's a guy from day one. I mean, as a freshman, he was redshirt in the first 10 games, and he just showed up every day, and he got with the coaches, and he said, how can I be better? And every year at the end of the year, he and I meet, and he says, Coach, what do I need to do to get better? And so he always tries to add to what he's done. And the thing I don't want him to ever touch is his heart and his spirit, because he brings that every night. There's no one in our program that is about winning more than him. And I think the guys now, I think his leadership has really developed. He's more vocal than he's ever been. But you guys have seen his low post ability. I mean, he's now a guy that almost commands a double team every night. And that wasn't always the case. Earlier in his career, he was a more guy on the boards, roll to the basket. Now he's a guy you throw it into the post. If you don't double team him, he can be effective down there scoring, and his ability to hit a little face-up shot. So he's just improved in every aspect his whole career, and it's fun to see guys have those kind of results when you see all the work behind the scenes that they put in.
How would you describe his personality?
I would say he's kind of a guy who is more leader by example. He's more of a quiet guy. He's not a real demonstrative kind of guy. He's not a yeller and a screamer and a big rah-rah guy. But he's a guy that just shows up and he commands respect by his effort and his attitude every day. And, when he does speak, it's usually very important. But I would say he's more quiet by nature. But that's why it's been good to kind of see him get a little bit more out of his shell with each year and even more vocal than he's ever been this year.
You mentioned playing Barrett more. Has there been any thoughts to playing both Barrett and Derek at the same time?
Yeah, at times. I think a lot of it is matchup driven. The other night against Michigan, they played Brazdeikis as a four-man. So it's going to be hard to put two bigs, when you have to have more of a mobile guy kind of guarding him. Same thing with Indiana. Juwan Morgan is a small five, and they play a small, Justin Smith is their four. So, I think when we play teams that at times play two bigs together, I think you might see that a little bit as the season progresses. And a lot of that is just, in my opinion, matchup driven.
Yeah, I have sort of a weird question.
No question's weird.
So the 1931 Northwestern basketball team won the Helms national title.
Okay.
And we don't have a banner in Welsh-Ryan for the team.
Yeah.
Any reason why?
No, I mean, I do not have the correct answer for you, so I would not speculate. But it's something we can discuss with the administration.
Is it something you would think would be a good idea?
Maybe, yeah. No, it's something we should definitely talk about. But it's I don't have the right answer, so I don't want to give you some bad information. There's no reason why we do or we do not. But it's we definitely should look to honor those guys in some way. Yeah, that was a good question. It wasn't weird. It was good. It's thought-provoking. So, thanks.